This soap right here is more than 50 years old, and of course it has belonged to my family for longer than I can remember. And this is an olive oil soap, but it's not your typical olive oil soap. Nowadays, olive oil soaps are made with olive oil, water, and pure sodium hydroxide. But 50 years ago, and especially in rural areas, they didn't have pure sodium hydroxide. So they actually used the lye water from wood ash. Back in the day, they used this soap for literally everything. They used it on their body, on their hands, and even on their hair. Yes, they used to wash their hair with this one here, which was quite surprising to me because, as you know, soap is alkaline, and washing with something of high pH for a long time could actually dry out your scalp. But they did a trick to solve this problem, which I'm gonna talk in a second. So today we're gonna do three things. Number one, we're gonna look at the chemistry and see why olive oil soap is so unique, and why does olive oil soap that is made with 100% olive oil needs minimum 6 months of curing. Number two, we're going to talk about how they actually use it for hair and how they actually use it as a shampoo basically. And number three, we're gonna try it out to see if it still works like it used to. I haven't used this soap for years actually, so I'm looking forward to see if it still works. I mean, it definitely still does. And for those of you who are new here, my name is Perry. I have a background in chemical engineering and a master's in biotech, and the whole journey with soap making started for me back in 2013 when I was a freshman in university. I had an organic chemistry course, and in that course we learned for the first time the saponification reaction, and that was where I got really interested in soap making. I didn't get interested in soap making by using a soap, as you would expect. I got interested because I saw the chemical reaction for the first time, and that was what fascinated me. And if there's one thing I'm obsessed with, that is formulation. I'm obsessed with understanding the why behind things, and knowing that if you understand your ingredients, if you understand the ratios you add your ingredients, you can actually use very few ingredients and create many different skincare products. And this is exactly why I have a free PDF that shows you how you can make 6 skincare products with only 7 ingredients. This is to help you save money, time, and energy, and to prove to you that you don't need 100 different oils or ingredients to make soap or other skincare. So let's go ahead and actually talk about why olive oil soap is so unique as a soap. First of all, in order to answer this question, and in order to answer any question about soaps and skincare, the first thing we need to look at is the fatty acid profile. So as you know, our soap making oils are separated in 4 categories. The first category is oils that add conditioning properties to your lather, oils that are high in oleic and linoleic acid. The second category is oils that are high in lauric and myristic acid, like coconut oil and babassu oil, which are the oils that give a lot of cleansiness to your lather. The third type of oils is oils that add creaminess, hardness, and they add a very stable lather to your soap, which is butters with a high concentration of stearic and palmitic acid, like shea butter, cocoa butter, beef tallow, and so on. And the fourth oil category is only castor oil, which is the oil high in ricinoleic acid that really boosts lather and creates a very thick and rich lather. So, but today we're talking about category number 1, conditioning oils. And here we have olive oil. And as you can see, olive oil is first of all high in oleic acid. So it has anything from 55 to 83% oleic acid. It has a bit of palmitic acid, and then it has linoleic acid in low concentration. Oleic acid is basically the reason why your soaps are very conditioning. When oleic acid reacts with lye or sodium hydroxide, it creates sodium oleate. Sodium oleate is the substance that basically adds a very gentle and conditioning lather. Now, a very important thing when choosing conditioning oils is to make sure you choose a conditioning oil with a low concentration of linoleic acid. So 7% is a low concentration. If you choose and conditioning oil with a high concentration of linoleic acid, for example, grapeseed oil that has 69 to 78% linoleic acid, then this has a very high chance of rancidity because linoleic acid is very unstable and it oxidizes really fast. And a bit about the history of soap making here. Back in the days, of course, people did not have pure sodium hydroxide as we have now, and we use it for soap making and it works fantastic. But back in the days, in order to make soap, they would use wood ash. So they would take the wood ash from burning basically wood, and that wood ash would contain small amounts of potassium hydroxide. So what they would do is that, as you can see here, they would use the wood ash and they would basically drop water. Water will pass through the wood ash and they would collect basically this potassium hydroxide lye water down here, which would be a water solution high in potassium hydroxide, which is a type of lye. And in order to make more solid type of soap, they would use salt or other agents to make it harder. Why olive oil soap? Why a soap with a very high concentration of olive oil needs 6 to 12 months of curing? So let's look a bit at the science of curing. What happens when you cure the soap? So actually the soap molecules, they are already created. So the first 24 hours, your soap molecules have already been created. But what happens during the curing process, during the 4 weeks of typical curing, is that water evaporates. Your soap contains around 30% water, which comes from the lye solution. So during that period, all the water evaporates and then you get a very solid and hard bar. So if you use it before that, your soap will be very soft and mushy. Soap with a high concentration of olive oil is actually completely different. And why is that? Let's look at sodium oilate. So this is sodium oilate. The first weeks it looks like that. It's basically this amorphous, completely disordered state. But after 6 to 12 months, these sodium oilate molecules, they become very organized and they get into a crystal form that looks like that. So when they are in these states, in the amorphous states, your soap will be very slimy and very soft. But when it is in these states, after 12 months where the crystals have completely formed and arranged together, then you get a very hard and stable soap. So this is exactly why your high concentration olive oil soap needs minimum 6 months of curing. And as a rule of thumb, I say that if your soap has a concentration of more than 70% olive oil, you should cure it for minimum 6 months. So how did they actually use this soap for the hair? Because honestly, we are very used to using liquid shampoo from the store and not really actual cold process soap. Why is that? Cold process soap is amazing for the skin. We all know that. The thing with cold process soap is that it's very high in pH. It has a pH of 9 to 10 after curing. And this high pH is quite harsh for your scalp here, because your scalp has actually pH of 4.55, which is slightly acidic, and it's way off compared to the pH of 9-10 of soap. So if you use a soap for your hair for a prolonged period of time, your scalp might start feeling a bit dry and irritated. So how did they solve this problem basically 50 and 100 years ago? I mean, I know some people that still do this actually. They would rinse their hair with vinegar water, basically dissolve some vinegar in some water that would create a very acidic solution. And first they would wash their hair with this soap, and after they were done, they would rinse their hair with vinegar water to bring the pH down. And that worked. And there were people that used to basically treat their hair like that for basically all their lifetime. But now, the ultimate test, I haven't used this for years, and honestly, I haven't used it on purpose. I don't want to use it. I want to keep it because I love to have a 50-year-old soap. Let's go ahead and try this out. Let's go ahead and try out the soap, which I haven't tried for many years. Wow, the lather is still amazing. look at that. It's very gentle and conditioning on the skin, and it lathered effortlessly. This is phenomenal. Look at this, guys. This 50-year-old soap still works amazingly fine, and this makes an amazing bar for sensitive skin and a phenomenal bar for the face as well. Words cannot really describe how amazing this soap is. Actually, I'm very grateful for still having it. I'm not gonna use more because, as I told you, I really like to just have it there as basically a thing from the past. And yeah, I hope you really enjoyed this video. Basically been a year of me taking the decision and posting consistently here on YouTube and other social media platforms, and creating this amazing community of people interested in soap and skincare making. The next days I'm doing 3 free live masterclasses on YouTube. And one more thing before I go. This June 24th, I'm turning 31 years old. Because of that, I will have my video course and Soap Hub 31% off. It has been adding value to a lot of people, and I decided to put it at 31% off. If you want at this price, remember to sign up to the waitlist that is in the description below. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.